Good evening, everyone. Ads here from Unity Trading Group. Welcome to the Thursday night update. So what you probably noticed this week is there's no live streams. Of course, my partner in crime, Ty, hasn't been as active as he usually would be in the Discord because he is away for the week. But that's fine. We're still conducting our updates. So glad to have you all part of the journey this week. Before I start, however, give us a like, of course, hit the subscribe button and tick the little bell if you really want to keep updated on all of UTG's future content. You can find us at unitytradinggroup.com, which is in the banner down below. Hopefully you like the new layout. But before I start the update tonight, I just want to bring to your attention this Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, Melbourne time, we're going to be doing our first UTG show. So it's called the UTG show. And we are going to be doing a basic podcast on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Melbourne time, Australian Eastern Standard Time, that is. And we'll be taking your questions. We'll be talking about the topics that you want us to talk about. And of course, we'll be interacting with the chat, whether that be Discord or whether that be the YouTube chat. We'll be online for about an hour or 90 minutes, something like that, on Saturday. So please feel free to join us and drop some topics or even message us on Discord to tell us what you want us to talk about on Saturday morning. So, BTC, where has it been since we discussed it last night, Wednesday night? We were discussing the eventuality of the negative 27, and of course we were discussing the eventuality of moving down and testing that further level to the downside. We didn't get the further level to the downside, of course, but we did see the negative 27 extension be tested. And of course, we didn't break it per se. We are trending below it as we speak. So what we have done in the meantime, however, we have created a new level of demand, which I'll draw into the chart at 34,850 or 35, pretty much even. And that really forms a decent level of support. Here we are. So we're looking at the previous high, and of course our level of support sits around that 35k mark now. So we are looking like we're going to move towards it now. So what I'd be looking for is a further retest of the previous high at 35k. And if we're going to see any more upside potential, I think that needs to be tested. In all honesty, we'll come down, test this level, and then of course make our way higher if we are to see a higher level for BTC. And of course that 40k region is the next area that I'd be looking towards at that negative 61.8 in terms of our Fibonacci extensions there on the chart. So not much more to say about BTC. What am I really saying? I'm saying that it needs a little bit of a cool off. Of course, we're seeing that on Steamroller being at the overbought condition again on the 4-hour time frame. We are seeing some divergence form on the chart, which I'll draw in. So we've got the divergence found on the CCI, divergence found on RSI, and of course our level on Steamroller there is quite a bit overbought at this time. So it looks like we will see 35k again for the immediate term. That would be the most ideal play for me at 35, and then a decision on whether we're going to make another higher high and test 40k, or we're going to move and break this level of demand down here and continue to the downside. If we are to break demand, I'd be looking further down at our 38, 50, 61 Fibonacci areas, and of course that level of demand that we really tested again before moving up to this level. But that remains to be seen. In the immediate term, if we are to be trending below this negative 27 on the Fibonacci levels, of course, I'd be looking towards the most relevant level of demand. Now, I did have a question come through on Discord earlier today about the CME chart and the gaps that's formed over the course of the last little bit, in the course of the last couple of weeks, months, bits and pieces like that. So what do I think? The first level initially, the first level that we were looking at was between 29 and 32, which that was tested pretty much as soon as the CME opened this week, which we had 1, 2, and of course the eventuality of that gap being shut. So that looks okay. Second one is between 23 and 2650 or 26,500, excuse me. What do I think? Where do I think it's going to go? Do I think this gap's going to get filled? Honestly, yes, I think it's going to get filled. I think it's going to be something that will happen over time and not immediately. It could happen immediately. That would be fantastic. But I don't think it's going to happen immediately. I think we'll see some levels tested for BTC prior to that. But in terms of, kicking off a downtrend and BTC cooling off on this run, this monumentous run that we've seen over the last couple of months or the last couple of weeks as well, I do think that that level at 26, 24 will be tested, but I think it'll take a little bit longer than we're kind of used to for this market. We are still in euphoric bull stages now. Everyone's still, from what I can tell, the sentiment is quite bullish around BTC in general. The pushes are getting weaker, that's no doubt, in terms of our movements every time we do move up in terms of price. They are admittedly getting weaker, but the total market sentiment in general is bullish. So if we are to see this this gap be filled, I think it would be on a downtrend. So when we are to finally see BTC sustain a movement downwards, I think that's when we'll see this gap be filled, excuse me. But of course, we've got the gap prior to that. We've got some gaps lower than this. We have, of course, we've got 18 to 19. We filled this gap here. In my opinion, that's filled pretty much, very, very lightly missed it at 16K. And of course, we've got the two levels down below, which we did fill this 11K. And of course, we've got the one at 9.6 that still is to be filled. We just tested that zone before moving to the upside. In all honesty, I'm going to be as completely honest with everyone as we are at UTG. We're renowned for our honesty. We're renowned for being as blunt and unbiased as possible in all honesty here. But what I'm going to say might not agree with everyone, but BTC does have these 50, 60, 70% pullbacks. Go back, look at the charts in previous time. All right, look how far BTC fell from the top. That is a given. It's on the chart. You can't hide it. So if we are to see these gaps be filled, which they probably will, and there's still a possibility that we'll fill the gap at 10, and I know that's a bit of a stretch, but it's a possibility. Anything's possible, yeah? So I'm not saying it's going to be filled. I say there's a possibility for it to be filled. But however, the gaps that we are faced with at the moment that are more important is the one at 26 and, of course, the one just under 20. I think those two will be filled in time. In due course, they will be filled. Not a guarantee. So this isn't financial advice. It's not a guarantee. However, in my opinion, looking at pullbacks in the past from our bull runs, of course, for BTC, there is a larger percentage in terms of likeliness that it will be filled. Anyway, moving on, having a look at Ethereum USD. So where are we sitting at for ETH? Now, this is not one that I've had a look prior to making this video, so I'm actually quite impressed. I'm actually very impressed. So the other day, we looked on the update, we drew in this level of demand. I did say the level of demand that was above us, I think I said this last night, was the most important level to look for. Of course, we did lick it very, very nicely. That is, look, we didn't quite touch it, but honestly, that's close enough. I'm going to take that as a decent level there. So are we going to move through this now? If we are to see BTC head up to 40, there's a quite a good chance that we'll see Ethereum push through this level, and of course head to our next one. And the next one is the best level in my opinion on the daily. That's the biggest market pivot point that is on the chart since 2018, and that's at 1350 for Ethereum. That would be a fantastic achievement for ETH on this run, in my opinion. and that would be the eventual target for Ethereum on a longer macro scale of things after we have the market cycles of pullbacks and stuff like that. But that 1350 is the area that I would look for Ethereum pending the break of this supply if we are to get it in the immediate term. So what I mean by that is if we have our pullback down to the, let's say for example, the 23, if we get this sort of market structure, we can build some more momentum and of course push through this level and towards our 1350. If we do see, like I said just earlier, circling back to that, if we do see BTC roll up to 40k, then more than likely it will drag Ethereum up past this level, and of course we'll see that 1350 eventuality just above us here. So looking okay for Ethereum. Litecoin, however, hasn't fared as well as I would have expected, today, and of course over the last 24 hours since I made the previous video, but it's been okay. We have retested and of course been rejected at this 61.8. We didn't make a higher high in terms of price action here. So that's looking okay-ish. If we are to get some more bullish momentum, like I said, on BTC and ETH, it will drag Litecoin up with it. And of course, we'll see that eventuality of 180, which is our most relevant level of supply at the moment. However, on the flip side of that, if we are to see some downwards momentum, of course, if we are to stay and keep closing under this 61.8, we would be looking towards our nearest level of demand. And that does sit, in my opinion, at around that negative 27 at 150, pretty much $150 or $152 roughly between that area there. It's very hard to give exact numbers, of course, as you all know. You've been watching us for quite some time, hopefully, but between that 150 and of course that 148, 149 region there, of course, for Litecoin, excuse me. So looking okay for Litecoin. Hopefully you're all following along okay, and of course hit the subscribe button if you like what you see. Next one I have a look at is XRP USD. XRP, not everyone's favorite, we know that. However, it's one to look at. It does give results, and it is providing those results at the moment. So looking at the most relevant level of supply for XRP, we're looking at the candles or the structure before the leg down. Of course, we have pushed through this and we are making our way through it now. If we do move up and close above this level, the next level honestly would be looking at somewhere around this region at around 36 cents. That's a bit large for me. So let's go on to the 1 hour, see if we can nip that up a little bit. Yes, we certainly can. We've got a little bit better price action here. We can use just about there, I think will be okay for this. Actually, we'll use the whole thing. We'll go back, just bear with me one tick, because I usually trade on a 4 hour and a higher time frame. So we can use the whole 1 hour candle there, move across. That's a perfect size. Just take note of the sizes. If you're new to supply and demand, just take note of the sizes of the levels. They are all of roughly the same sort of size. So we do need to maintain that sizing, of course, to make it viable to use this trading strategy. So if we are, in any case, to move through this level of supply, and that would be a close above 30 cents, then the next movement up would be roughly around that 36 cent area for XRP. And if you ask me, that's a decent recovery so far, since we had that movement down from 58 all the way down to 18. As much as people don't like XRP, it does provide a buying opportunity. In all honesty, in all retrospect to what's circulating XRP at the moment, it does provide a decent buying opportunity, and it is paying dividends for that buying opportunity at the moment. Last one I have a look at is the DXY. The DXY is a regulated market, and of course, this is not financial advice, just ideas and opinions of Team UTG. Of course, we are not doing much with the DXY. There has been a whole lot of news circulating in the US at the moment. Of course, we all know what that is. I'm not going to get into that side of things, but it's not doing well in terms of increasing the US dollar index in any case. So if we are to find the USD will move up. If we are to expect that, I guess, I don't think we'll see any further than 89.80, 89.79 for the DXY. I don't think we'll see any further than that. That does seem to provide a little bit of liquidity and some previous supports and resistances in that area in the past. So I think that would be the most relevant area if we are to see some more upside momentum. And of course, if we are to see that downside, we are looking at that 89.149. It more than likely will eventuate to the downside. The bias is to the downside. We have been slipping down for quite some time now, so that bias is still in effect. And of course, I'm looking towards that lower level of demand at 89.149. But yeah, that concludes our update for this evening. 15 minutes, not a bad update in my opinion. Please join us on Saturday if you like what you see already on the channel. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. The UTG show. We're going to be taking your questions. We're going to be talking about the topics that you want us to talk about. And of course, we'll be looking at Discord for any chat to talk about as well. Give us a like, hit the subscribe button if you can. Every subscription helps us out a lot. If you like what you see, give us a share. Share it to any Discord, any Facebook, any resource that you like. If you think someone will get benefit or get anything out of this, of course, share it to them as well. I'm Ads from UTG. I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye for now.